из степи полки со славой громкой, и не ложь со склона и на склон. А вы, моя родимая сторонка, прими от красных конников поклон.
Hello everybody and welcome back to C.S.A.L. Official. I am C.S.A.L. Higher Official Nathaniel Reichert, and today I'm going to be telling you guys a little story about how I broke my right arm. If you've seen this live stream a couple months ago, well, about a month ago or so, whenever it was, you probably noticed that my right arm was in a sling, and that is of course because it broke. And of course I already told other people how this happened on my other YouTube accounts, but I have not told people how this happened very well in this account. I mean, I mentioned it a little bit in this live stream here, but our live streams don't do good at all, so I'm going to go ahead and make a video about it just because we haven't posted anything in a while, and we want to just kind of, you know, keep posting some stuff and keep our viewers updated about what's been going on with us lately. Now, before we get into that topic, I want to just go ahead and mention something about these back here. As many of you probably know, I'm a firearms collector. I'm not trying to threaten anybody with this video. These are just here really as like props right now. Yes, these are real firearms, but they're just here as props right now. We're just using them, just kind of, you know, makes a good little backdrop for our videos. The CSAL is all about like military history and stuff, so that's why these are here. I've got a couple semi-automatic AK-47s here. This one here is actually Slabman's. That one down there is mine. And right here we've got a 1911 45 ACP. Right here we've got a Russian Makarov. I can't really remember the caliber those things take right now. And right here we've got a pair of 1903 Springfields that actually did see service in World War I. Those belong to my grandfather. They're 120 years old. They still work fine. So far we've only really shot live rounds out of this one. This one here is a little bit rougher, so we just still use blanks in that one. And then up here we have a 1976 Bicentennial 30-30 Winchester rifle. And that is, of course, lever action, as you can tell from the lever right there. And this was, of course, made as a bicentennial for the 200th anniversary of the United States back in 1976. It's one of the newer firearms here. The AKs, we don't know the ages of these, but we're pretty sure this one here is also from the 70s or 60s, maybe. That's the one that Slabman is keeping here temporarily. We are in the United States of America right now, so we are able to keep and bear arms. Everything's legal. These are all licensed firearms, etc., etc. So I figured I should just get that out of the way real quick. Anyways, let's get back to the story of how I broke my arm. This happened around probably, what is it now, late January? 3 months ago, right around November 14th, so about 3 months ago. What had happened, I was on my bike riding home because I like to ride my bike when I go to places because I'm a very active person. I'm not the kind of guy who just sits inside all day and does nothing or just sits on a computer all day like some people, Coomer. And I was just out riding around and it got dark out. It was getting very dark. And I had gone several miles already in that day, so I was kind of hungry. I was wanting to get home, so I was kind of hurrying home, and I decided real quick I'm going to stop in a little convenience store on my way back and grab a couple snacks and like a couple bottles of water because I was really thirsty and really hungry, and I still had about a mile to go back, which doesn't sound like much, but it was uphill all the way, so I wanted to stop real quick, get something to drink, something to eat. So I went into this little UDF to get a bottle of water and like I can't remember, like some granola bar, and I got some kind of candy or something too there, and I got up to the cashier, and I kid you not, this guy is counting change for 2 minutes straight. Just a ton of quarters, just going through them. 2 minutes straight, I'm standing there while he's counting these quarters, just going through them, slow as possible, slow and steady, wins the race. Not really. And he's counting these quarters for 2 minutes, and I'm just standing there like, oh my gosh, this is taking a while. Come on, let's hurry up. It's getting dark out. I want to get back. I don't want to have to deal with that big-ass 4-lane road out there, so I'm going to just go ahead and ride on the sidewalk on the way home when this guy's done. Yes, that should work fine. That way I can see oncoming traffic, not have to be in the bike lane, and it should be safer for me that way. And of course, this bike has lights and reflectors on it, and I had a backpack with me, and the straps on it are kind of reflective, so, you know, although I was wearing kind of dark clothes, I was fairly visible with the light on the bike and with the backpack and all that. So when I finally got done at the convenience store, I went ahead, went outside, hopped on my bike, and started riding home. So I'm going over to the big road. There's traffic just thundering through there as usual. It's like 6 o'clock at night, which is pretty dark in this part of the country this time of year at 6 o'clock. So I go ahead and start working my way up the hill on this sidewalk, and I'm just going up watching oncoming traffic and just kind of cruising real slow and easy back to another road that's like way up at the top of the hill. Then I go over down that, and then I eventually get to my house. So pretty direct route to get back to my home, but you know, just a pretty good distance and uphill all the way. So eventually I come to my first decent sized intersection, which is the big 4-lane road that runs east to west, and then there's this little residential road that kind of winds around through this neighborhood and comes out and intersects with the big 4-lane road. And it's just a little 2-lane residential road, and as I get to the crosswalk, there's a car sitting right there blocking the crosswalk, and there's a guy sitting in there getting ready to turn. And I stop, I'm looking around, making sure nobody's in the turn lane of the big road, making sure nobody's coming from the road down there, watching oncoming traffic, looking for turn signals. Everything looks all right. So I go ahead and look down the road again over there. Nothing's going on. I go ahead and look at the turn lane again, look for turn signals, so I'm double checking, and I look back at the guy in this car in front of me, and he's not the only car. There's another car behind him who's well aware of me too. So I look at him, he pulls up and gets ready to kind of turn, so he's kind of out in the road a bit, but you know, not so much where he's in the lane. He's like in the bike lane now, and I'm on the sidewalk, so there's enough room for me to go around behind him, and he even signaled for me, like, you know, go around behind. So I'm like, all right, I'm good to go. I, you know, go ahead and look again for a third time, and I'm kind of get back up on my bike. I start riding around behind this car, and by the time I get to the other side, and I just didn't leave the crosswalk during this whole ordeal either. I was close to the edge when I went around the back of him, but I did not leave the crosswalk. And as I get about halfway through this crosswalk, lights to my right come out of nowhere, bright as hell. And I'm just like, you know, my life's flashing before my eyes. All that stuff's kind of going through my head, you know. And I'm thinking, like, I knew this would happen one day. I just knew it. And then, boom, I get hit by a big-ass Ford F-250, F-350 pickup truck, and I go flying. I fly through the air 40 feet. I mean, I'm lucky to be standing here talking to you guys today. Everybody I talked to at the hospital later that night said that, you know, I easily could not have made it if things had been just a little bit worse. So I fly 40 feet, and 40 feet's the distance I went, but I flew through the air for a bit. I felt it. Eventually I hit the ground, I'm sliding, I start to roll a bit, I scraped up my face, I scraped up my knee. I got messed up big time, and I'll probably try to throw in a photo or something down here for you guys to see. There's a photo of me, I'll edit it in somewhere around here, but there's a photo of me in the hospital. You can see the scrape on my face and all that, and there was one on my knee, and then some on the side of my leg. And yeah, it was a horrifying experience. And anyways, when I stopped rolling and, you know, moving, the bike's tumbling around with me too during this too. And eventually I stop, and I don't know how, but somehow I got up on my feet again. My right arm's broken. I didn't know this at the time, but I was up on my feet somehow walking around. I'm just saying to myself, oh my gosh, I knew this would happen one day. I see the bike, it doesn't seem to be too damaged at all. And then, remember, like, I wasn't moving my arm, but my hand, because I know you guys probably can't see down here. My hand, I remember wiggling my fingers on both sides, and I was just kind of like, I was gonna, like, try to wipe my face off because I'm in shock, you know, just kind of like, you know, am I dreaming? What's going on here? You know, and when I go to do this with both my arms, I just notice my left hand comes up, and I look down, and my arm right here, it's up like this, but it looked like my elbow wasn't right here. It looked like it was like up here, just a little bit out from my shoulder. And my arm's just hanging there. I'm like, I just fucking broke my arm. And as I'm saying that, the guy's coming out of the truck. He's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? You know, and he's already like getting ready to call the squad. And I was just like, holy crap, man, I didn't see you. I'm sorry about it. I was kind of, I guess, I cannot remember very much about this incident. But from what they said I took the blame for it. I really don't remember that because I was in shock and did, I think, have a slight concussion at the time. But I just remember the guy's coming out, he's asking me if I'm all right. I said, I remember saying I'm sorry for, I remember saying, I'm so sorry about that, man, you came out of nowhere. Because I figure this guy's probably like freaking out, you know. So I guess I'm just kind of thinking like, oh, well, he's probably just as freaked out as I am. So I might as well apologize to him because, you know, I don't know. I don't think I was trying to blame myself at the time because I looked around and he wasn't anywhere to be seen when I was standing there at that crosswalk. And it was a big white truck too. I think I would have noticed that in the turn lane. Originally, I thought he was turning from the right and I just didn't notice his turn signal. That wasn't true. He was turning left out of the turn lane in the middle of the road. So he would have had to have come out of nowhere, shot across traffic, and hit me. So at the end of the day, he was actually the one at fault. They said I took the blame, but I honestly do not remember that. Eventually, I remember a cop showed up. I remember specifically he had either a Welsh or an English accent, but I don't remember ever saying it was my fault. You know, everything about that was in a haze, but I can remember the cop had some kind of like English-sounding accent. I remember what the guy looked like who hit me in the truck. I kind of think I may have met him before in the past even, just real quick. Somewhere like a few months prior in the summer, I think I happened to bump into the driver of the truck somewhere in a completely different part of the county that I live in. But other than that, so I'm there. I'm not feeling any pain at all whatsoever. I'm just like, what the heck is this? Isn't this supposed to hurt? And the reason that was going on is because the adrenaline was so high, I couldn't feel pain. And eventually, you know, the guy who hit me is calling the ambulance. His girlfriend's with him. They're just kind of like, you know, asking me some questions, making sure I'm all right. Eventually, the ambulance shows up. I do not remember them loading me into the ambulance, but I remember being in it after that and just talking to the paramedics. And they said, like, I kept repeating, this is the first time I've broken an arm. I don't remember that either. I remember maybe saying it once or twice, but they said I said it about a dozen times on the ride to the hospital. And I do remember them asking me if I was in pain, and I was just kind of like, no, it's not hurting. But however, once I got to the hospital, after I'd been laying down in the ambulance, once I got to the hospital, the adrenaline had worn off by that point. And I was starting to feel some fucking pain over there. Honestly, not as bad as I thought a broken bone would have felt like. It was not as bad as I would have originally, like years ago, thinking about like, oh man, so-and-so broke his arm, that must hurt so bad. You know, I had classmates who broke bones. I was like, oh my God, that must hurt so bad, you know, back when I was a kid. But now I'm thinking about this, I'm like, is this really as bad as this hurt? I mean, it hurts like hell, but is this really as bad as it's supposed to hurt? And because I've experienced some worse pain in my life, honestly. Like, a freaking heavy-ass window slammed down on my fingers, and I honestly felt like that hurt more than this broken arm. But after being in some pretty bad pain for about 5-10 minutes, they gave me some painkillers, and that just kind of numbed it out. And they put me into an emergency room. And I remember paramedics, you know, my arm, I didn't realize my arm was like a whole quarter shorter. Like the bones had like separated and like pulled up next to each other, if that makes sense. And it made my whole arm like shorter. It was like, you know, like way, my hand was like way up here, my arm had like shortened itself. This paramedic was like, here, let me go ahead and just straighten this out here for you. And my arm stretches out its full length. I'm like, oh, well, holy crap, my arm is getting longer. I kind of look down and I'm like, oh, well, shoot, my arms are different lengths. And he's stretching it back out again. So my arm's back to full length, and then there's like no pain after that. I'm sitting there, just laying there, and my arm's by my side, it's stretched out again, and I'm feeling fine. Hang on, we'll pick this up in a bit. So sorry about the wind noise you guys probably heard there. There's a vent right in the ceiling, and the furnace was running, so it was blowing air onto my recording device. So if you guys heard wind noise, it was from that. I'm definitely inside right now and not in an extremely drafty building or anything like that. So, where was I at? So yeah, I'm in the hospital. My arm, it gets stretched out, and then I'm getting wheeled into the emergency room. So I'm in there. They get my arm into position, feels comfortable. I'm just kind of laying there all night. And my parents came by to visit me, and my I don't have an older brother. My younger brother comes by to visit me with my mom, and my dad came a little bit before them, and they were all talking to me, asking me what was going on, just making sure I'm all right, all that kind of stuff. So they said they wanted to get me into a regular room, but it'd probably take a long time for that because there was a freeway incident like a day before, and there was like dozens of people in rooms from that accident, like huge multiple car pileup on a freeway near that hospital, and there was a lot of people in there from that. And I think there was actually a couple of casualties in that as well. So yeah, very sorry to all those people who were injured in that, but I just had to kind of just kind of hang out there in the emergency room for all that evening with just my arm and just bones just kind of floating around in my arm up there all night. And they were giving me pain meds, but I was still feeling pretty sore in that arm all night. And I barely slept that night. I just slept for like maybe 30 minutes on and off throughout all the night with like just little 5-minute naps all night. Yeah, it was rough. Just laying there watching the time, watching the clock on the wall, just watching the time just flowing away all night, just thinking like, when can I get in the room? When can I get the hell out of here? When can I get surgery? So eventually I got moved up into a room the next day, and then they started talking about surgery, what they're going to do, all the procedures, put me under, all that kind of stuff with anesthesia. Just going over me with everything about, shit on the floor here. Just going over with me about all the stuff that they're going to be doing and how they're going to be going about it, etc., etc. And my dad visited me again, my mom visited me again that day. It was my dad before surgery, and he was eventually right around, when was it, 6 o'clock that evening, probably? About 24 hours after I'd broken the arm initially, I finally was able to go into surgery. And they wheeled me into the surgery room and all that, and they gave me an injection of, like, I guess it was some kind of, I guess it was probably frickin' fentanyl or something, to just totally just numb my arm. Once they gave that to me, I just felt like, it was some strong shit, let's just put it that way, because my arm was just dead over here after that. I didn't feel shit anymore, and I'm just laying there in bed thinking about, like, man, what the hell? This is wild, And then they, my dad leaves after that, and they're getting ready to do the surgery. And this whole time they've been asking me my name, my birthday, to make sure I'm not totally concussed. And there wasn't, because I did have a concussion. It wasn't too severe or anything. But because I did have a concussion, they wanted to let me know that, when we do this surgery, there's a chance that you're not going to come out of this or wake up. We just want you to know that. And the chances are low, but there's a chance you may never wake up. And I was like, I understand that. I don't feel like I have a concussion at least that bad. They said I did have a slight one, but I was feeling pretty confident it wasn't that bad. So, I just said a prayer, and then they put the mask on my face, and then after about 30 seconds of breathing that frickin' sleeping gas, whatever it is I'm just out. Now, I've had surgery once before this, and I remember last time I had that thing on my face, I remember just like falling into a black abyss. That's how it feels when you just like pass out. I remember that from the surgery I had when I was 6 years old, but I don't remember passing out during this surgery. I just remember they put it on, and then all of a sudden I just feel like I'm waking up a little while later. And I look over at the clock, it's like 8 o'clock now, so about 2 hour surgery. And then some of the surgeons come over and they're like, hey, good to see you're awake, how you feel? And I'm like, and I wasn't like all like doped out of my mind from the sleeping gas either. I was just like, I woke up and I was like, oh, I just feel pretty normal again. And they asked me for my birthday and everything. I, remember I just was able to say that all fine. I was just like back to normal again pretty much. And then, kind of looked down my arm, there's a bunch of frickin' staples right there. And they're, getting ready to put the wrap on. And yeah, they, got me all ready to just kind of go back to my room. And when I went back there, my whole family was there. I was talking to them about all that kind of, about everything, and they're asking me all kinds of questions, all that kind of stuff, and eventually they left. And then that night I slept a little bit better. It was still pretty rough, on and off. And then throughout these 2 nights that I spent in the hospital, there was people coming in and pricking me with more needles than I've been pricked with in my life. Like, I haven't really had, like, those, I mean, they gave me a tetanus shot too, which is like the first shot I had in a couple years probably, but they drew so much blood from me that night, it was wild. And the night before was, pretty intense too. And they were just doing all kinds of tests, making sure I hadn't contracted anything from when I just sliced my frickin' face open on the hood of the truck. They said, like, that thing on my face, I'll try to maybe edit in something again here for you guys. They said that was actually from the hood of the truck, which was, kind of severe. And they also said, like, with the speed he was going at least 30, 35 miles an hour. And the fact that I definitely hit my head on the hood of the truck, they said a blow like that should have killed me, honestly. And they were pretty amazed that I didn't have a worse concussion from that. Yeah, pretty crazy, It was one of the most insane experiences of my life. And I'm very lucky to be standing here speaking to you guys again about this incident, and just kind of doing what we do here at the C.S.A.L. And it was intense. And the moment I got out of that hospital, the day after surgery, I was able to get out. They helped me kind of walk around the hospital a bit, some of the nurses, and just making sure I'm like capable of moving around again. I'm feeling really confident. They did some more tests. It seems like my concussion had pretty much fully gone away at that point. And they released me around probably, 4 p.m. that evening. So about 46 hours after I broke my arm, I was released. And then back home. Then I filmed an update video on my main channel as soon as I got back. And just kind of got the word out there about where I'd been. I checked my phone. I had messages from family members, friends, just dozens and dozens of messages from CSAL members. Thank you guys so much for your support out there, and just just wishing me a speedy recovery, and just glad that I was alive and okay. So I'd like to thank everybody out there who was helping me get through this all. I really appreciate it. And my arm is completely back to normal now, pretty much. I'm still don't have all my strength back, but I have my full range of motion back. And I've kind of somewhat become ambidextrous because I was using my left hand for literally everything there for about a month. So I've kind of become somewhat ambidextrous. I see myself using my left hand for things like, just doing things and like grabbing stuff and moving stuff around. I see myself doing doing stuff with my left hand that I would have never done before that. So, and I'm pretty much using my left hand just as much as my right hand now. So I'm feeling like completely ambidextrous. It's kind of a positive thing that came out of this. I feel more productive now, and I feel I can get things done quicker because I'm just like, I just have so much control and so much like, I just feel so much more in tune now. If you guys know what I mean. It's weird, usually like hitting your head really hard, concussion, all that stuff kills brain cells, but I feel like a new person after this almost, it's like it's woke me up in a way, if you can kind of understand. It's pretty crazy, honestly. Let me check this again real quick. And this video is getting kind of long, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching. I know Jacob Miller and some of the other people you see on this channel don't ask for subscribers, but we could definitely use some subscribers, so feel free to subscribe because we want to try to build this channel back up. And Commander Urban, if you're out there watching, congrats on 1K. Really glad you made it. It's great to see that. Hopefully we can get this channel there someday. I don't know. But congrats for you on that. Hopefully by the end of this year, 2024, we can see you make it to 2K. We'll go ahead and try to give you some shout outs and try to help get you up there because you've helped us out a lot. We'll probably do a shout out video for you at some point, just a short one or something. And yeah, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video, and expect more soon. We got some plans. We got some projects planned for you guys that you guys would probably like to see out there. We got some more videos we got to do, more stuff we need to discuss and things like that. So expect a lot more soon. We're going to start putting a lot of content out, and this well, actually, we'll just let you guys figure that out when we upload it. We've got something kind of funny planned too, but we'll get to that in the near future. So with that, thanks for watching, etc., etc. Please like and subscribe because we want to build up this channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you want me to do a more in-depth video about my firearms collection, feel free to just ask in the comments. I mean, I'll probably do one anyways at some point, but you know, it probably will be for another while. So, but if you guys really want to see that, I can do one probably a little bit sooner. If you guys want to see it soon, you know, comment below, and then I'll try to get it out a little quicker. And of course, there's going to be some more videos from Jacob Miller. He's going to be making a grand return to this channel, and we'll probably have a few new members come on and talk about some things in a video that's coming up here in a bit. So yes, now thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
По степи полки со славой громкой, и не ложь со склона на склон. А вы, моя родимая сторонка, прими от красных конников поклон.